So hey guys, it's Super Hitsu and I have a battle here against the Flaming Spade for Wilechase's Tourney, round 8, or no, round 7. I'm just showing you the team here. And I think his team is more of a balanced team. He has Vaporeon and Lantern, which aren't as common this gen, but they're still really good. So he leads off with Landorus and goes for the U-turn, which which makes me believe it's Scarfed, and it is. Spoilers. While I make a misclick here and go for the Thunderbolt, which was really fortunate on my part, as you will see later. Well, it doesn't really matter anyway. While I switch out into my Tyranitar to wall him, since he's since he's probably Specs, and I predict a switch here, predicting like a Crunch or something. So I'm gonna go for the Stealth Rock, while he switches into his Landorus to U-turn or Earthquake, since they're both super effective against me, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't run Hammer Arm, but he does later on, so I just go out into my Rotom Wash since he can pretty much sponge the U-turns, and I don't want to risk switching out into Caesar or something else. So he goes into Latios again while I switch in. And since my Tyranitar can pretty much wall this thing, I go out into my Tyranitar again to wall it, while he goes for Draco Meteor, which does a little more than Surf, I think. I can't really tell, but I think it does a little bit more. While he withdraws, and I go for the Ice Beam, predicting the Landorus, which doesn't really affect the game, but I mean, with Spade he could do like anything basically. I'm playing pretty predictable, he's not. So now I switch out here and I go into Celebi, and I don't use Celebi anymore because of this. During the game I just fodder him out because of this. He goes for the Wish, which is not good, which means that he can get his Latios back up to full health, which really would help his team out, and that is why I don't want to send in Celebi anymore, because Latios resists both of his moves, Giga Drain and HP Fire. So I just go into Buggies on the switch since I know Latios is coming, and I predict the HP Fire. So I go into my Salamence because I thought it was Specs at this point, but it's not. It's actually Expert Belt, so that worked out bad for me. And so yeah, he goes for the HP Fire, doesn't do much at all. Then he goes to Draco Meteor, and I was like, damn it, because Salamence could have really helped me win this, or it could have like really helped me increase the score. So yeah, now that he's at -2, I go back out to Caesar while he withdraws. I go for the U-turn here on his incoming Ferrothorn, which does a decent chunk, which kind of tells me that he's a specially defensive variant, maybe. It seems like he is. So yeah, now I go out into my Rotom Wash, which guess I'm just trying to get the Will-O-Wisp off on him for some residual damage on that Ferrothorn. But he switches in Lantern, I guess, predicting Thunderbolt, maybe. While I go, or no, never mind. So, oh well, never mind. There's a lot of different stuff going on here. Well, he still gets hurt by his burn, so that's good either way. So now he withdraws and goes out into Heatran. Well, I go for the Pain Split because I know that Lanterns have a lot of health. So if it was Lantern, it probably would have gotten me up to full, since Heatran has a balloon, so it's obviously an offensive Heatran. Unless he's Scarfed, but he's not. So now he withdraws, I guess, predicting a Thunderbolt, predicting the Vaporeon to come out to absorb the Hydro Pump. I know it's a little complicated, but I just go for the Hydro Pump anyway, since his Vaporeon was pretty close to full health anyway, so it wouldn't have really mattered. And it does a decent chunk, even though I'm pretty sure he's pretty bulky. And here he goes for the Heal Bell, which, I mean, it's not the best thing, but it works. Well, it's more of a free switch to me, since he could hit me with a Scald, since I think he has Scald. Well, and here I go for the superpower, since in my opinion it could hit anything on his team for a lot of damage. And it does. It hits Landorus for a decent chunk, actually. It does a bit below half, I think, because of all the stealth rock damage it's taking. And then I just go back into my Rotom Wash to absorb the U-turn, thanks to the pain split that I got earlier. While he goes back out to Latios. So now that I know that it's expert belted, I go into my Black Santa, my Tyranitar again, since he pretty much walls this thing to death. And coming up here, I believe he switches into his Vaporeon, and it's basically stalling. So I'm going to tell you what's going on with this. If I win Wile's Tourney, I'm going to really try and get an ace card so that my quality is better and maybe it'll get me some more views. I really don't know. And again, this is really, but before I talk more about that, this is more of like a lot of stall going on. And honestly, this battle, well, this really helped me actually, because I get my leftovers recovery. And I almost killed the Vaporeon. I'm kind of like hoping for a crit somewhere. Well, he goes for the Protect, and a couple times in here I predict like the Ferrothorn or the Landorus or Latios or something like that. But yeah, it's basically just stalling me recovering 6% each turn, because he doesn't want to sack his Vaporeon, and he doesn't want to switch into his... He doesn't want to break his Heatran's a balloon, and he doesn't want to switch into Landorus, because he's pretty sure that Crunch can kill after Stealth Rocks. And Lantern would probably die also, since I'm pretty sure it's specially defensive, or physically defensive or something. I really have no clue. But yeah, so that's just explaining what he was thinking, I believe. But yeah, so I'm in round 8 and I gotta play Inert Fury, and finally switches out into Ferrothorn. So I do another switch and I go out into my Scizor, which was a good play on my part, while he switches out and sacks his Lantern. So finally I got a kill, which is nice. U-turn, and I switch out into my Rotom Wash, since now his he doesn't get the Volt Absorb anymore, but I forgot about his Landorus. So I go for the Thunderbolt here, and I miss sometimes in the future. So he brings out Latios, and I just go back into my Tyranitar, who has recovered like around 100 HP from the leftovers recovery, which really worked out. If I was at 206, it probably would have been a 2-hit KO from there, and that would have really been different. So here I go, it's like basically the same thing, except somewhere I predict a... Ooh, never mind, sorry about that. But my my recording got messed up, so sorry about that, but it's still gonna work out. And I basically just like skipped a few turns ahead. It doesn't really matter. And here he didn't know that I had Fire Blast, so that really didn't help me at all. But it didn't hurt me either, since he ends up sacking his what's it called? His Ferrothorn to my Caesar, I believe, since Caesar was kind of a big threat to him, since he didn't want to lose his Heatran's balloons, because then my Excadrill could easily sweep. And if his Vaporeon gets that low enough health, that's a good thing either. So I go for the Ice Beam here, predicting the what's it called? The Landorus, and I get the Freeze, which doesn't matter because he has the Scald, and he could easily just unfreeze out of that. So, I mean, it was kind of good that I got that, but it wasn't really necessary. So yeah, he melts the ice with the Scald. I'm really lucky that I didn't get the burn here. So yeah, I go for the U-turn here, I believe. Yeah, and that does a big chunk. So, but he goes for the Wish, which I'm kind of sad about, and I go out into my Rotom Wash. Oh no, he goes for the Scald, never mind. I go out into my Rotom Wash, and this kind of screwed me over. Well, didn't really screw me over, but it made me lose my Rotom. So I go for the Thunderbolt here, and I totally forgot that he had Landorus. So that like really hurt me. Since it doesn't affect the Landorus, the Thunderbolt. And yeah. He has speeds. He goes for a U-turn. I live with 13 HP. I basically was just sacking him and going for the T-Bolt since I knew he would U-turn. And now here he's just sacking his Vaporeon. So it's a double down. 4-4, I believe. And yeah, that's good for me. 4-4. Since Vaporeon is not good for me. So now I just go out into my Caesar since I can U-turn out or whatever. And he goes into Heatran, which is not good for me since he has the Fire Blast. So I just go into my Tyranitar since I can wall his Heatran, and I know I can take at least one Earth Power while he goes with Fire Blast, and he gets the burn. I don't really think that matters all that much, as you'll see. Right here, I leave him in as kind of a fodder while I try to break his balloon with the Crunch, which will help me get off my Excadrill sweep here. So, yeah, I just leave him in for fodder again while he goes for the HP. I'm going to say Ice, since it was neutral. I don't know. So here I just go into my Excadrill, and I go for the Earthquake while he switches in his Ferrothorn, which is going to easily get knocked out by the Stab Earthquake. And here he goes into Landorus. I go for the Rock Slide, but I miss. And he goes for the Hammer Arm. And look at this. I live with 20 HP. That just saved me, even though I got hacked earlier. And I go for the Rock Slide here to finish him off. So it's 3-2 now. And now he goes out into his Latios, and I go for the Rock Slide. And now here I just basically sweep his team while he runs away. And before this video is over, I just want to give a shout out to PokeZone 101.